Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started today. Welcome everyone to Sharpen Your GroundTruth Ads Manager Skills webinar. My name is Allison Buck and I'm an Associate Account Executive here at GroundTruth, and I'm joined by my colleague Zach Sellers, who is a Product Manager on the product team. So before we get started, of course, we have some housekeeping. Make sure that you're muted. And don't worry if you miss anything, we have a full recording coming to you at the end of today's session. And be sure to submit your questions via the Q&A function throughout. And after we're done, if you have time, please send us your feedback via the poll survey. And if you have any follow-up questions, you can go ahead and email this address here, adexpert@groundtruth.com, or connect with your GroundTruth representative. Today's agenda. First, we're going to open with Zach, who's going to talk a bit about our connected TV offerings. Then we're going to move into Ads Manager best practices, which I'll be hosting, sharing some resources on the platform. And finally, we'll have a Q&A session. Some background on us. GroundTruth is the leading location-based marketing and advertising technology company. So we close the gap between expectation and reality with data-backed solutions. We can reach your core audiences with relevant ads that drive them to visit your location. And I'll turn it over to Zach now.
Thanks, Allison. Hi, everyone. I'm Zach. I have been at GroundTruth for almost 5 years now, and wanted to take a moment to thank everybody for joining us today, especially in the middle of a very busy Q4. And I look forward to talking a bit about Connected TV, which is a new offering that GroundTruth has gone to market with over the past year. Probably have heard us talking about it quite a bit. And so a lot of this might be a bit of a refresher as far as information is concerned. But with a new offering, I'm very excited to be talking about it. And a lot has been changing, especially over the past 6 months. So I think it'll be great to kind of end the year and go over where we've grown, what we've added to the offering, and what we're thinking about going into 2022. So on the next slide, I'll just very quickly go through OTT and connected TV for everybody. And with OTT, we're really talking about a specific type of media and referring to streaming long format video content, and for the ad specifically non-skippable inventory. And then connected TV lives as a subset of that, where the ads are being served on large screen devices, mostly smart TVs, or through TVs that have game consoles and other streaming devices connected to them. Looking at the Ads Manager offering specifically, on the next slide, one of the big things that we've been working at is bringing our entire mobile location offering to a cross-device world. And so when we first started, it was just a connected TV offering. We didn't have a solution for the large or the overarching over-the-top category. And so I think the first thing that we did and realized is that if we were going to come up with a solution that our clients were very interested in, we would have to go into that whole space. And we present this in Ads Manager through the device type selection, where you can choose either to target only connected TV devices, or you could target any device via the OTT selection. And the next step for us was going into and really looking to bring all of the different type of targeting strategies to connected TV. So it started with audience and geo-targeting, where we made all of our location-based mobile audiences available on connected TV. And geo-targeting was originally introduced only going down to the city level. But as the product scaled and we learned more about how to run successful campaigns, over the past 6 months, we've been able to expand down into zip code level targeting. And most recently, and I think this will be new for most people on the call, is we're now beta testing radial targeting for connected TV specifically. It's not something that I think most of you will see in Ads Manager as an option immediately. It was actually part of our most recent release, I think 1 or 2 weeks ago. And it is available if you're interested in running some tests. So please feel free to reach out to your account manager or platform specialist or account executive if you do think you're interested in radial targeting for connected TV or over-the-top campaigns. And we'd love to work with you on setting up a test. I think there's a lot to balance as far as scale and what like a minimum radius looks like. But as we continue to explore that area, we'd love to start running some tests. And then another big area that's come out recently is the ability to utilize our weather triggering solutions on connected TV campaigns. It's not something we've talked about a lot, and I think it's something that I would like to talk about more going into 2022. We have a very robust set of offerings as far as what types of weather conditions and triggers that you can set to run a campaign using. And I think that there's quite a few different applications for this type of targeting, especially on TV devices, and look forward to putting that to good use in 2022. And then one other thing that I see that's different for connected TV and OTT in our platform when compared to mobile is the ability to get publisher reporting for your campaigns. That's something that was added, I think, in the past 3 months for all clients by default, and we're currently working this month to make that available via our reporting APIs as well. So for any client that's getting reporting via API connections rather than signing into Ads Manager or setting up automated reports, that should be available before the end of the quarter. And talking a little bit about 2022, there's a lot of different areas that we're exploring, and I've kind of gone down into 3 of those for highlight areas for the first part of the year. The first being online conversion tracking. So currently we are able to do our traditional offline visitation tracking and measurement for connected TV campaigns. But we also on the mobile side have online conversions and conversion pixels. Currently, I think the challenge there is similar to running or using targeting for mobile audiences on TV, but just the inverse, where now we would like to start tracking conversions online when perhaps the user was exposed to an ad on a TV but ended up converting online via a different device like a laptop or a mobile phone. The other thing is retargeting. So we allow for mobile retargeting on connected TV devices, or I guess I should say, you can build an audience of exposed users on mobile devices and then retarget them on connected TV devices. But currently we're lacking in the ability to build a retargeting segment of users that were exposed to an ad on a connected TV device and then retarget them on mobile or desktop devices. So that's something else that we're looking forward or looking to add in 2022. And then the other big area is reporting. We've started to push towards more customized reporting solutions for clients with connected TV. And I know I mentioned publisher reporting, but we get a lot of requests for more user-friendly reporting for all types of campaigns. And we're starting with connected TV on this front, where you'll be able to schedule a wrap-up report or progress report to be delivered internally or externally for a connected TV campaign that includes all of the relevant metrics for the campaign, and it's packaged in a one-page report that's downloadable and shareable. So whether you're an agency or a reseller partner that works with end clients that have interest in seeing the reports, or just interested in not having to do as much data manipulation internally, this type of solution will allow for that. So a lot of big things coming in 2022. please feel free to reach out with any questions you might have, and provide any feedback you have with the offering so far. And we're really looking forward to growing in this space. And with that, I think I will pass it to Allison to do a bit more of a deep dive on Ads Manager practices.
Awesome. Thanks, Zach. So yeah, this moves us into our best practices on Ads Manager. When we were thinking about doing this, we wanted to focus on common reasons why campaigns are underpacing. And what we mean by that is if a campaign is underpacing, it usually indicates that your ads can't reach enough devices to satisfy your campaign targeting parameters. So you're running your campaign on Ads Manager, you're looking at your dashboard and you see the percentage of your pacing. It's not as close to 100% as you would like. Let's look at some reasons why that might be going on and some solutions. So the top thing that I've seen is that the location parameters are too narrow. So if you're using on-premise targeting, consider changing to radial targeting, especially if you are targeting a local business. I like radial targeting a lot. We can get down to 0.1 miles around a location, and it really gives you multiple touch points with the consumer. So rather than only when they're in store, you can reach a consumer using radial targeting as they're approaching the store, while they're in the store, and as they're leaving as well. The other tactic to think about is if you are doing zip code targeting, consider putting in more zip codes that are a reasonable drive to your location. I've had clients that are trying to drive visits to their store, and they're only putting the zip code in of their actual store. And that really affects scale. So thinking about that, especially, I don't know if you've already seen it. If you're on our email list, you might have already received it. We recently released our CPG lean report on the CPG vertical, obviously. And one of the interesting things we found is because of supply chain shortages, consumers are really willing to travel farther distances to get the goods that they're looking for. So I would consider, thinking about extending your reach, 10 or more miles away from where your location is. The next thing to think about too is time and demographic filters might be too granular. So try removing day parting. Unless you're targeting an event, a convention that's only going on during certain hours, I would really consider leaving day parting on to all times. Who's to say someone looking at their phone at 4 a.m. playing a game doesn't want to know about your happy hour and isn't going to come in, the next day during your offerings. The next thing to think about too is removing demographic filters. So on Ads Managers, you may have noticed we have a whole section where you can check off different age demographics or income filters. That data is gotten by basically when a user signs up for an app that we partner with, they will fill out their own survey data. So they will self-identify as I'm a millennial, or this is my income. And certainly if you put in those demographic filters, you'll be reaching those people, but also you'll be missing out on all the users that didn't fill that information out. So I would consider removing demographic filters, and I have a workaround, which I'll discuss in the next slide. And then the other thing to think about too is considering where you are targeting. So some locations are self-selecting. So if you are, reaching locations that are very niche, then most likely the users that are there are already going to be fulfilling your demographic, your demographic needs. For instance, I had a client who was selling boating equipment. They were targeting marinas and other boating yacht clubs. And so certainly, it's such a specific area that most likely the users that are there are going to be the ones that are interested in seeing their ads. So they don't necessarily need to put in demographic filters. Which brings me to my next point. Think about diversifying your strategy when you're building a campaign. So don't rely only on the on-premise targeting or radial targeting. Those are awesome tactics and obviously a huge reason why you might want to use a service like Ads Manager. But we also offer something called audience targeting, which is one of my favorite targeting tactics on Ads Manager. It's reaching your consumer based off of where they've been in the past. So if you're looking to target Whole Foods shoppers, they don't have to actually be at Whole Foods in order for you to target them. We are able to bucket users based off of their offline foot traffic. So we're able to say this user is a Whole Foods shopper. They're not at Whole Foods right now, but we know based off of where they go that they are interested in Whole Foods. So building ad groups featuring our first party audiences is a great way to work around that demographic filtering. We see better scale using our first party audience for millennials, say, rather than checking off that 25 to 34 demographic box. So again, the key benefits is you can reach your audience no matter where they currently are. And also it's a great way to get creative and thinking about crossover audiences. So thinking about brand affinities or behavioral audiences that may align with your key consumers. Then other solutions to try, I've also noticed that if campaigns are underpacing, it's because they don't have all the creative sizes. So if you're missing creative sizes, you are missing opportunities to serve ads. Up here, you'll see the visuals for mobile. The really important ones to have, of course, if you can have all of them, go ahead and put all of them in. But the most important ones are the 320 by 50 and the 300 by 250. Those have the highest inventory with our publishers. So certainly if you're running a mobile campaign, make sure you have those in there. And then the other thing to consider too is, again, along with diversifying your strategy, consider putting in a desktop or a CTV or OTT campaign or ad group, I should say, to bolster your mobile efforts. I've seen a lot of success with diversifying your strategy in that way as well. And that leads me to tips and tricks. These are some features that I think are really useful, especially when it comes to reporting. So one feature highlight that I wanted to talk about was automated reports. So this is a feature that allows you to put consolidated information from multiple campaigns on a cadence, and you can send it up to 25 recipients. So if you're working on a team, that's a way to send all that information out to everyone who needs to see it. The way you access this is in your campaign, you're going to hit that hamburger icon over there on the top left corner, and then you'll get this drop-down menu, and right in the middle, you'll see reports. Click on that, and then on the next screen, you'll click Create Report over there on the right. And then you'll have the option to select which kind of report you'd like, how often you'd like it to be sent out, and who you'd like to send it to. And here's a breakdown of the 3 different kinds of reports you can have. We've got daily trend, location reporting, and product reporting. Product reporting means which strategies, which ground truth products performed best or didn't perform as well as you may have liked. The next tip I wanted to talk about too is remembering if you are running a campaign whose KPI is to drive in-store visits, when your campaign is over, make sure to check back, set an alarm on your phone, make sure to check back 2 weeks after that campaign ends to get your final visitation account. So when a mobile ad ID is served in ads by GroundTruth, we attribute a visit to your location as a result of having been served an ad through GroundTruth in a 2-week window. So meaning that your campaign ends 2 weeks after that, we're still counting visits to your store as a result of having seen an ad through GroundTruth. So you're going to want to make sure that you check back at the end of your campaign. The way you do that is in your dashboard, you're going to click onto this duration field here. It opens up the calendar. You're going to go from the start date to 2 weeks after your campaign ends, and then you'll see the data change. Next feature too that I think is really cool is our audience reporting, So this is a feature that allows you to see how audiences are responding to your campaign. And what's cool about it is that it's all audiences. So if you're doing radial targeting, say, you may be serving to mobile ad IDs that fall into bucketed audiences already in our system that you weren't trying to target. So this example here, I have a close-up. This is a gardening and pet supply company. And they were looking at their audience report, and it looked like they weren't going after morning QSR goers, but turns out that they were visiting their store. So maybe in the next time that they run a campaign through us, they might actually target those users. And then since I talked about audiences that you weren't necessarily trying to target, this is how you find audiences that you are trying to target and to see how they're doing or how they're reacting to your ads. So you're going to go to summary, And then is again that reporting by product. And here is just a close up to see, this is a behavioral or an audience targeting tactic ad group. And so, of course, kind of pet owners and horse audiences, I should say, responded well to their ads. The next feature that I think is really useful too is the column picker feature here. So I'm going to go to the next slide and show you where that is. So at the bottom of your dashboard, you'll see that audience report here. This is where all of your ad groups live. And all of these columns here are actually able to be modified. So if you choose that column picker button, you can decide which stats you want to see and which ones you don't. So that's just a really easy way to sort of overall see how your different ad groups are performing. And then lastly, if you're building a campaign and you're in the weeds and you need some help, we do have this handy help button here. If you go ahead and click it, it's going to pop up to this window and you can press this contact us button and write a ticket directly to our team here and we'll get back to you. Or you can search your help topic. We have a really, really awesome help center that has most questions that you might want to know the answer to. So if you type in your question, it'll populate options from our help center. And then lastly, other ways to get resources or get help, you can email us at selfservehelp@groundtruth.com, contact your account executive or platform specialist, of course. And then lastly, that help center website is really helpful, www.help.groundtruth.com. And that opens us up to our Q&A section. So be sure to write in your questions. I'll give you a couple minutes to write in, and we'll get started with that. Okay, we have our first question here. Was wondering if there was a way to add a radius around a location instead of many miles. Not sure exactly what the question is, but yes, you can put in an address. If you're building an ad group, if you just put in an address, you'll get if you're building an ad group, you choose on-premise locations, a location targeting tactic, and then you go to geo-target it. You can put in an address and then you'll have a field where you can put in however many miles or under a mile you would like to put in. Again, we can get down to 0.1 miles. How can location-based ads serve to desktops? I
can take this one, okay. Allison. Yeah, Chad. So thanks for the question. So we do allow for audience targeting based on mobile location audiences to serve on desktop. And basically, we work internally with a device graph solution to match desktop IPs and mobile ad IDs for serving ads. And basically, by doing that, we're able to target users that are a part of a certain location-based audience on desktop devices as well.
Okay, cool. Next one. If you're doing a specific restaurant as your target location, will the ads only be served while they're there, or will it tap the phone being used there and serve ads later? So if you're doing on-premise targeting at a restaurant or even radial targeting around a restaurant, it'll serve ads to mobile ad IDs while they are within that radial or on-premises. So if you wanted to do a retargeting function, what you can do is build an audience based off of mobile ad IDs that have been served an ad while they were on premises. And that's a way for you to, be top of mind and message your users multiple times. Okay, now we've got Keegan, thank you for the question. When geotargeting for an event is specifically, how do you get more people to convert? Our pacing is fine and our click-through rate is generally fine as well, but actual sales flatline most of the time. What are your thoughts? We don't have sales. We don't offer reporting on sales. We can offer, the ability to drive consumers to your site. Things to think about, of course, again, our scale, whether or not you're able to reach enough users to get, the numbers high enough that they are converting. Zach, do you have any thoughts on this one?
I think like sales conversions and sales lift, I think generally require a bit more of a hands-on approach between like our side and the client side. And it would definitely, I think, be helpful if you reached out to your platform specialist or account manager and maybe set up some time to go through the data that you're seeing on your end, whether it's internal data you're looking at, or if you're working with a third-party vendor that's helping to track your sales lift. It's always helpful for us to get an idea of how that process is being run and what type of data is being looked at. And sometimes we're able to put together some custom targeting recommendations that might help reach the types of users that are more likely to convert. And then also, I think there's a lot of retargeting strategies that can be built off of an event and used to reach users down the line that might end up leading to a conversion. Events, I think, can be tough because in a lot of cases they're a short weekend long or week long type of thing, and a lot of people are probably consumed with what's going on at the event and might end up needing some reminder through marketing messages and advertising to convert in the future. So definitely helpful to share what information you're looking at with our side, and we can help put together some recommendations based on that.
Yeah, just to echo Zach, retargeting is really important when doing events. And also another thing I've seen too is building the retargeting audience is not the same as targeting the retargeting audience. We can go into that maybe in another topic, or if you want to write in, we can answer that offline. But you have to build an audience targeting ad group and then plug in that retargeting audience that you built at the event in order to then target to them. That's another thing that I see happen often. Let's see. Okay, so that actually answers Jack Bay's question. I've selected retargeting for my audience, but how do I make sure that it's happening? So one way you have to build that, it's really important to build that audiences ad group and then plug in your retargeting audience. And that's how you're going to go ahead and utilize that audience there. Looking for some more. In cities like New York City, where there are many skyscrapers, are there hacks or tricks to sort of those on the first floor versus other floors?
I can take this one, I think.
Okay.
I don't have the best answer for you right now. Like verticality and Z-index in the location space is a growing topic, and it's certainly something that we have been looking into and are looking at solutions for. As far as like hacks and tricks are concerned, I don't think that there's anything super like substantial that I can offer as a solution for you, but it is something that we're exploring with our data science team and partners, and looking to add like to capabilities going forward. Perhaps something that can help in the short term is looking at categorical audiences, where you can find overlap between the types of people that you think are visiting a location that might be in a large building or skyscraper, and those that you know are visiting those locations because there are different POIs that are in standalone buildings and stuff like that. But I think vertical data and z-index is something that we'll be talking about more going forward. And yeah.
Okay, it looks like some questions are going into the chat. So this is just a reminder that rather than putting your questions in the chat, click that Q&A function there. Here's another question. How much do I have to spend to get started? I wanted to get started on a mobile campaign to drive visits to my store, but want to know how much it costs to get started. So one of the really cool things about Ads Manager, the self-serve side of it, is that it is built to test. There is no minimum campaign budget. You can run a campaign for however much you like. We run on CPMs, which is a bidding price. So if you're looking for your mobile campaign and it's static banner ads, then it's $3.50. And then say you're going to run a whole total campaign for $100, you're going to spend up to $100 on that campaign. For mobile video, it's $8. And then I'll just go ahead and say for CTV and OTT, the CPM prices are $25. But again, there's no campaign minimums. There's no fee to have it, to sign up for an account. And there's also no annual fee for the service either. I have a question again, in the chat here. Do we offer retargeting pixel for website retargeting? Yes, you can definitely add a pixel to your ad creatives at GroundTruth and again on the header of your website. We have a really good article on that in our help center. If you just go into that site and write in for the pixel, or maybe we can send it to you after. It'll go through the steps of how to do that, but we do offer that.
Sorry, I think that question is referring specifically to like retargeting website visitors and not online conversion. So okay. The pixel-based site retargeting is not something that we currently support. But it is one other area that we're looking into in 2022.
Thanks, Zach. I guess another retargeting question. Oh, go ahead, Zach. Were you?
Sorry. I think I was going to dive in.
Okay, go ahead, since we're talking about it.
Okay. So we got a question asking about the best way to add GroundTruth to standard retargeting, like in addition to Google or Facebook retargeting, so we can use your distribution network. I think I might have like a follow-up question for clarity on this. But I guess if the question is what's the best way to get started with using GroundTruth and Ads Manager to set up retargeting campaigns, like we have both a solution available where you can sign up and log into Ads Manager to set up those campaigns. But we also have a set of buying and reporting APIs if you prefer to set up and manage campaigns from a separate platform that maybe you're managing all of your media spend through. If the question is more along the lines of how do you bring audiences from third-party sources to GroundTruth in order to extend the reach of your campaigns using our network, I would say that you can reach out to a platform specialist or account executive and share those details. We do support onboarding and targeting ads based on third-party audiences as well. So if that's what the question was geared towards, please reach out to your GroundTruth representative, and they will help start that process for you.
Another question, do you have any case studies or examples to share? Yes, we have a lot of published case studies that are really useful. If you go to our website, groundtruth.com, there is a Insights tab, and then a drop-down menu will fall down, and you can click case studies, and we have a ton of them. Oh, one last one. Is there reporting to show what apps and websites ads are appearing on, and also screenshots of where the ads are served?
So we do support publisher level reporting for connected TV and OTT campaigns at the moment. It does not extend to desktop or mobile display. And so it's something that we're considering going forward. I think there's a couple of differences in those two spaces that have driven us to adding support for the streaming services campaigns more immediately. And then we don't have screenshots of where the ads have run available, but we do provide, I guess, live preview links for creatives through Ads Manager that can be shared and viewed externally and offer the same functionality that the ad would have when served in app or on a website. So it supports full click-throughs to landing pages or the various, I guess, expandable or rich media functionalities as well.
Okay, I think that's it for the Q&A section. Again, please fill out that poll. It's going to come up before you leave today. It'll help us improve these webinars and think about our next topics to cover. And again, if you have any questions going forward, or if you didn't get a chance to ask your question, you think of something later, you can go ahead and email us. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I guess we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.